What if I were to tell you that some of the everyday things that you're doing in your kitchen are quietly harming your health? And almost nobody talks about these things. In fact, I would say 99% of people don't even realize it. In this video, I'm gonna share 5 kitchen habits. Don't worry, I'm also gonna share very simple things you can do instead. These are super easy swaps that are going to make a huge impact on you and your family's health. And we're in the kitchen because the kitchen is, to me, one of the easiest places to make a difference. It's a place where we're eating, we're drinking, we're making choices every day that really affect our well-being. So this first habit, and I was pretty shocked about it, but I decided I needed to put it in this video, and the habit is using an air fryer. And the habit isn't the fact that you're using an air fryer to cook your food. What I'm going to tell you is it's what the air fryer is made of. So many people, myself included, totally bought into the air fryer craze. I myself bought this Ninja air fryer. When I got it and when I brought it into the house and I unpackaged it, it smelled terrible. I put it in my cabinet and for about a month, it was polluting the kitchen. It was all I could smell when I would walk in the kitchen. And when I cook in it now, I can still smell that smell. And I've kind of come to realize that it's kind of a combination of 2 things. I think it's the hot plastic and it's the plastic smell, so that's kind of off-gassing. But then also the basket that the food is cooked into, it's some sort of metallic plastic type of smell. One of my friends, she has a similar air fryer and she said that hers smells so bad she will only use it outside. I decided to look into it and there's a couple of things going on here. Besides the plastic kind of off-gassing and smelling, especially when it gets hot, you also have to look at the basket that you're putting your food in. And my air fryer in particular, and many of them, probably the one that you're using as well, has a nonstick coating. So I went onto the website to see what this nonstick coating was made of, and it says that it's a ceramic coating. But I need to tell you, most ceramic coating is actually coated in this thing called Sol Gel. This is a proprietary blend and it comes from silica. And they put this on these non-stick ceramic things so that you can use them and they can say they don't have PFAS, they don't have Teflon, all of that. The only way to know if your coating is ceramic, like actual ceramic, is the label needs to say 100% ceramic. Most air fryers do not say that. And that's why you can't put them in the dishwasher. You can't put them in the broiler. So I kind of did some further research and I looked into my Ninja one and it does say that there are no PFAS. And I'm going to just put up what the technical term of PFAS is. This is a type of forever chemical. It stays in your body forever. I mean, pretty much years and years. It's really dangerous. Okay, so what do? I would say if you have not yet bought into the air fryer craze, I still think air frying food is great. It's fast, easy. I know a lot of you don't want to use the microwave, so this could be a good alternative. But you need to look for air fryers that are made of stainless steel or glass. And actually, Ninja has a bunch of great glass ones. I may at some point get one of those if it's too late, if you're like me and you've already bought one. The big thing you need to do is go to great lengths to avoid scratching that surface. So you want to make sure that you're using utensils in it that don't scratch. So you definitely don't want to use any metal utensils. Really only use wood, bamboo. If you need to, silicone is another option, but you don't want to use anything that could potentially scratch the coating. Additionally, you need to frequently check for scratches. So every time you wash it, actually do a scan and make sure you don't see any scratches. You do not want to ingest any of that coating. And the last thing I'll say is while you're washing it, make sure you always wash it by hand. Don't use anything abrasive. Don't use any of those really scrubby brushes or sponges. Just be careful. Use a gentle sponge, a gentle cleaner, and leave it at that. Really, the bottom line is if you have this type of air fryer, I would just be hyper vigilant about the coating. Okay, so speaking of coating, this gets me to number 2, and I've talked about this one kind of at length before, so I apologize to my regular viewers, but I was looking at my YouTube analytics and I see that 60% of people watching my videos have never actually watched them before. So chances that you've heard me talk about this are quite low. But the habit here, and I see this all the time, it is continuing to use non-stick pots and pans, especially when they're scratched. Non-stick pans are very convenient for cooking, right? I get it. But most of these contain PFAS. If there is a scratch, and it doesn't even matter if it's a tiny scratch, there could be a scratch on your nonstick pan that is invisible to your naked eye, but that will still be leaching chemicals into your food. If you see the scratch, it's even worse. And I'm gonna put some information just so you can see how dangerous it is, because I have shared this in the past and then people tell me, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. It is not fine. If you don't do anything in this video, replace your scratched pans. I'm telling you, this is going to be so important for your health. And I'll also have all the research I did for this video linked below in case you want to do any additional research on your own. A lot of you aren't going to want to hear this, but I have to say it. Even the healthy pans that they're marketing today, don't be fooled. I know that I sound a little extra, but I'm going to tell you why. I go on these websites of these healthy pans and they're shouting from the rooftops that they don't have PFAS in them. And that's great. Fantastic. But guess what? They have some other chemical in them that makes them nonstick. And it's a chemical that these manufacturers do not want to disclose. How do I know this? Over the last many months, I have emailed several of the well-known manufacturers of these healthier alternative pans, and I've asked for the ingredients in their nonstick coating. Not a single one will tell me. And I know why. Every single one of them is hiding behind trademarking law. And my professional career is in marketing. I know all about trademarking law. Essentially, what you can do is you can make a proprietary blend of chemicals and then you give it a formal trademarked name, and you don't have to share that name because the industry considers it a trade secret. So you are protected. This allows them to conceal the ingredients from us. And I'm sorry, I don't trust it, because oftentimes they will make new chemicals to replace the unhealthy old ones. And then years later, they find out the new chemicals are just as bad, if not worse. So, not to be all alarmist, but what do we do here? This is a very simple fix. You do not need to be cooking with pots and pans that are non-stick. I know that if you watch commercials, you will kind of go down that path and you'll be led to believe that you need non-stick things, but you do not. You can very easily cook with stainless steel and cast iron. Both of these are naturally non-stick, and if you cook in the correct way for each material, it will automatically be non-stick. I can cook in my stainless steel pan. I can cook an egg without even using oil. That's how non-stick it is. These are great metals to cook your food in, and obviously you want to make sure you purchase them from a reputable brand. I'll link some good ones below, but don't think you need to go run out and buy all new ones. You can go to the thrift store and find wonderful stainless steel pots and pans. I did a whole video. I will link a card, not sure which side it's going to appear, but after this video, if you want to watch that, you can see what I look for when I go to the thrift store, and I can find some very, very affordable cookware. I just did a whole video on coffee and my coffee maker being plastic. So this is number 3, and I'm putting it in here because until I made that video and I saw your comments, I didn't know about this one. But a lot of you told me, and I'm sorry to say, it's the Keurig machines or any of those machines that will take the single use pod. If you're drinking coffee every morning out of these machines, you are drinking your coffee with plastic, because all of these machines, unfortunately, are fully plastic. So all of that hot water is going through that plastic. And to make matters worse, if you use those disposable pods, then you've got this really flimsy plastic pod with the aluminum top, and all of your hot water and coffee is going through that. At the very least, if you cannot replace your Keurig, I would say at least get these stainless steel pods rather than the disposable ones, because these you can use over and over. These will not leach into your coffee and it will be so much better. If you can replace it, they have so many good coffee options out there. They have things now like pour over coffee pots. They have percolators, which is what I have. They have French press. I used to think all of these coffee solutions were really complicated, but after I got my percolator, I've come to realize it's actually easier to use the percolator than it is to use a coffee pot. And I will say, if you are looking to detox your kitchen and you feel like your kitchen has a lot of unhealthy materials in it, I did launch a system. I'm going to link it below, but it's essentially a system that has all kinds of useful videos and information to help you get those toxic things out of your kitchen. And I know that it sounds like a lot of stuff to do, so I've broken it out into about 4 weeks. You can go at your own pace, but it's going to help you get that stuff out. So number 4, and a lot of people are still doing this, and people even tell me on the comments that they need to do this, but I'm going to tell you, if you are in the habit of using harsh kitchen cleaners, I think you should stop. I know that a lot of us grew up with these harsh cleaners and we feel like we need to keep using them. In reality, a lot of these cleaners contain chemicals that are very bad for our health. I can't tell you how many of you guys have emailed me to tell me about a loved one you have who has been exposed to some sort of chemical. You think it's from cleaning. These chemicals are dangerous enough. You don't need to be using them in a room where you are cooking food, you're preparing food. Maybe you've got kids walking around, crawling around. Just to kind of bring this point home, imagine you're cleaning your countertop and you're using this really harsh countertop cleaner. And you clean it, you wipe it, you move on with your day. Then one of your kids comes in and they make a sandwich. And as kids do, they don't get a plate. They make that sandwich directly on the countertop. Well, then they're going to be eating that cleaner. And a lot of these cleaners, if you look at the container, and I'll see if I can find some and put them up, they will say on the back that after you've cleaned the surface, make sure you rinse it. But you know what? A lot of us miss that. We don't think about it. We don't rinse it. Or say you're using a harsh oven cleaner and you're putting it in your oven. Well, I just think that's a recipe for disaster, because not only is that off-gassing and you're smelling it in your kitchen, when you clean your oven out, it still has a little bit of that chemical clinging to the side. And now every time you put food in there, some of that chemical is going to turn into vapor and get into your food. My rule of thumb in the kitchen is if the cleaner has a warning label on it, I don't use it in that room. What to do, because this is so simple, it's so cheap. Most of the time, I just make my own cleaners. Half the time, I'm cleaning with a homemade multi-purpose cleaner, and I just take some water, some liquid dish soap in a spray bottle, and that's what I'm cleaning with. And if I need to disinfect, I'll sometimes get some hydrogen peroxide, spray it on the surface, let it dry for about 10 minutes, you are good to go, and it's super safe. I'm actually making a video on kitchen cleaners not to use right now. I know I just kind of talked about a couple of them, but this is gonna have all kinds of other things. I'm gonna film that after this video. So if you wanna see something like that, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Okay, next one. Many people are still using this, and I hear from you guys, and I know you guys are still using this, some of you. The habit is continuing to use plastic cutting boards. Plastic cutting boards are absolutely releasing microplastics into your food. You are always cutting on them with a sharp knife. If you have this cutting board, after this video, go and look at it and tell me, do you see cuts in your cutting board? If you see cuts, you are absolutely eating plastic. Microplastics that we're ingesting are causing all kinds of problems. They're causing inflammation, gut problems, Alzheimer's. Okay, so what to do? Simple. All you need to do is get yourself a wood cutting board. They also have bamboo cutting boards. I personally like wood. Sometimes bamboo can be glued together. It's okay. I mean, you can find ones that aren't. I'll link some actually to make it a little bit easier if you're in the market for one. But I like to just get a solid piece of wood, and those work really well. I've also heard good things about glass and titanium cutting boards. I've never used them personally, but I think those would be great as well. Anything but plastic. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to keep on watching about toxins in your kitchen, I'm going to link a whole playlist right here. I've got this really good video. I think it's really good, where it talks about 15 things that we don't even know we have, and that kind of complements this video. Don't forget as well, I've got my system linked down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Bye-bye.